Carl from CWD. It's Monday, midday, bank holiday. Decided I'm gonna try and get started on the backy shower. I'm not gonna actually put the media in and actually pipe up to it today. There is a reason for that. See if anyone can figure it out. Part of that reason is this Tempest is going to be mounted on the wall. So I'm going to mount it here because there's a wooden beam here. So I'm going to mount it. I'm going to mount it there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get the top outlet of the Tempest. So this here, I'm going to try and get that matching up with the top of there. So I've done a tiny little mark here. I know where it is. That's matching because that brick line there, that little mortar line, that's where it basically is. So need to get my drumsticks down that I used about 3 times, probably about 5 years ago. And there's a little scraper. Get this acoustic foam off. Sack that off somewhere. Okay, so now this is where the Tempest is going to go. So I've got the brackets, got these from West Midlands Koi. I'm pretty sure I could figure out, who makes some and get some made up, but you don't have to be involved in everything, making money and everything, do you? So head on over to West Midlands Koi, grab yourself some of these. By the looks of it, so if that's going up there, the bottom's going to be round about here. So I should be able to just go below here and then just tee off, elbow up, this way into the Tempest, and then across there. Now I'm undecided whether I'm going to have that there, because I'm undecided what I'm doing on this back wall. What I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a banner made for that corner, and it's going to come up to maybe the end of that wall. That's waterproof, so then I don't have to worry about the Tempest when it's gassing up. Well, water's flowing through it, so there'll be little splashes, little bits of mist coming out of it, and that won't be very good if this is just painted. Even it's not painted at the moment. That's just how the acoustic. It's the blue acoustic plasterboard on there. I was going to plaster it, but then I'm going to have to waterproof it anyway, so I might as well just make the corner nice, put a piece of board up there, and then put a banner. The banner could be, I could make it look Japanese style, it could just be a CWD, it could be all the different types of fish, could be reminding me to test my water, it could be anything, it could be a load of pictures of parasites, but maybe that'd be a bit of a bad omen to have above a koi pond. It's gone a bit cloudy, got a bit of new pond syndrome going on, but yeah, I went a bit crazy with the Saki, and I think that's caused some issues, if I'm honest. So yeah, we're back on wheat germ now. We're testing. That's the test from yesterday. So we're no ammonia and a tiny bit of nitrite. The nitrite after 2 minutes you could barely tell. That's been there for, well, nearly 24 hours now. So I'm undecided whether to have the backy shower there or here, because this corner here, the way that it's set up, there's a bottom drain below where that goldfish is just, well, that fish there, it's coming up. There's the bottom drains there if you've not seen the other videos. So that comes out, feeds up here into the easy pod, and then it's pumped out through. There's a return here, so that's where the return is. So it's pumping water that way. When I throw food in, I throw food here, and then it kind of dances about, so it spreads it out nice and evenly. They're not too much of an aggressive bunch of koi feeding, so I'm alright with throwing a big handful in there, and then it makes its way over. They're still a bit timid. I think they're still getting used to this pond. It circles round, and then in this corner here, I think that's a bit of a dead spot if anything. So my thinking is, if you have the backy shower over here, one, it's less pipe work, because I'm going to have a pipe going all the way across the back and then into there, if I was doing it, because I'm not going to go across, down, and then across, up and into it, because that would just be stupid. So I would have a straight piece of pipe going all the way. It is about 3 meters. I might have one connector in the middle somewhere, but I think having it here would be better, partly because I'm going to have to lift 3 tiers, probably with about 10-15 kilos each in, That means I don't have to move the glass or anything. I can access this at the moment before the Tempest. You know, I'm gonna just see what it's like once the Tempest's in, like for room around here, but I can access that quite easily, is what I'm thinking. But then again, the OCD in me is thinking, will it look a bit cockeyed? So if I solve the problem, those buttons that I've put down there, I'm going to smear with my sealant and then I'm going to glue them down. And then this is just going to be a continuous piece of wood going all the way to the wall when I do the coping. So that's just going to be continuous. Then I'm not going to have a problem with this. This wood is treated. I'm not going to have a problem with water going into the pond then, because it's going to be, you know, it's going to be covered in sealant. It's going to be waterproof as well. And also, because the garage is ever so slight tilt this way, means the maximum water level is this corner, because it kind of goes. It's all right because there's on the other side of here there's a little grate. So if we ever do have a leak, like we did when I was filling it up, and it was all pissing over the top over there, it all just went underneath. But that has made the plasterboard over there mouldy, so I'm going to take that bottom board out and put a waterproof one in, or just a piece of towel backing board, just some 4mm, and then I can do whatever I want onto it. So my plan today, just get the Tempest in. Get the Tempest in, I'll just have a little return going back down here. So all I'm deciding on for now, Tempest, these brackets. So the bottom bracket is the open one. I'm guessing, I've never installed one of these before. Top one is the closed circle, because then you shove your Tempest up through that hole and then it'll just rest on the one on the bottom. So I'm gonna have to get this within about ½ an inch, as long as that black bit there can slot in. So what I'm going to do as far as mounting it on the wall there, because there's a bit of timber going in between these two pieces here. This was meant to be a bodge job, so don't criticise this, please. So what I'm going to do to connect them, I've got this. Can't wait to get this done, because then I'll actually respect this space and I can start clearing it and use it as a nice little area for me and Pip to come and sit over there. I might even use my guitar amp again. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this into 4 pieces, double it up. It's only an inch thick. Cut that so I've got enough, because that's wide enough to take all these screws. Whereas the batten that's behind there is a 3x2. So that's not wide enough to take all the screws. I'll only get these 3 in the middle, whereas I want all of them, because we all know someone who's had a Tempest that's fallen off. I know this is going to be indoors, but you know, it's even worse if it falls off indoors, because then all sorts of bad things happen. Like, you know, 100 odd pound bag of Saki could have, you know, could be on the floor and get absolutely soaked through. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to cut 4 pieces, double them up so they're 2 inches thick. Then they'll take a decent sized screw, which, well, not that, that's a bit too big. But yeah, I've got some screws somewhere. Oh, they're underneath there. Yeah, I need to dig them out. It's in this box. So I'll get some decent screws in it, and then it'll just be coming down, and then it'll just be putting water in there. And hopefully that'll help clear the water, and it adds a bit of biological, not much, but it'll add a bit of biological, which is a good thing, isn't it? So I've got 4 blocks now, so the reason for that is I can get some screws through these blocks into the timber behind this wall to make it strong enough. And if I double them up, I'll actually use my sealant as well in the middle, might as well, because we all know how strong that is. You can hold up a pickup, it'll hold up a Tempest, and then what I might do one day is actually mount a Tempest using them brackets with my sealant only without any screws, and see if that works after 24 hours. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Right, so double them up, so screw these together with some smaller screws, and then I can go through this into the timber behind there. That'll make it much stronger, and get a bit of goop on there, make it nice and strong. Alright, so just figuring out exactly where this is going to go. like I've said, I want it to match up to the top of the pipe going on the inlet of the backy shower over there for when we do fit that. So I've got the little blocks, so they're just to add strength to this because this is just a plasterboard wall. So once I've screwed these in, they should be, well, they'll definitely be fine. They'll be able to take about 60 kilograms. So yeah, that'll be sorted. So what I'm doing now, figuring out where I've got to put this on the wall. So I've got this little mark here. No, it's not very prominent, but I know where it is. That's where I want the pipe to be coming out. So what I need to do is I need to get the mounting bracket like so, because that's how it's going to be when it's actually installed. And would have been, oh, there's the tape measure. Then grab my tape measure. I work in a right mess, don't I? I just measure down and see how far from the centre of that pipe. So that, to me, so from the top of there, it's 8.5 centimetres. So 8.5 centimetres. What I'll do is I'll grab that, seeing as that's acting like a right angle now. So from the top of there, it's 8.5 centimetres, so from the top of this, looks like 6. So I've just placed that in the centre of the pipe. So I should be able to shimmy this out. And then measure here, which it's 5.5. So what I'll do is I'll put this 5.5 centimetres above. Well, actually I'll do 6 because then we've got more wiggle room for this. So I'll put this 6 centimetres above this mark. So I'll go and get the spirit level, make a line, measure 6 centimetres up, get the block screwed on, and I'll get the stainless screwed on. So this is a little block that I made. I just marked out, so I've put this on, use a permanent marker, done a dot in each hole, just to make sure I'm not putting any screws where, you know, I'm not screwing this into anything, putting any screws that are going to interfere with it. So I'm happy with that. I'm speaking weird because I've got a screw in my mouth. Right, so there's a bracket on the wall. It's pretty high, doesn't it? But it'll come down to about here, so it should be. See if I can pick this up with one hand without breaking it, eh? Oh, actually, it's a bit high, that, isn't it? So maybe I'll just 45 down and then go into the pipe. Yeah, I think we'll 45 into it. Yeah, I've never really set a Tempest that high before, but that's how high it's going anyway, to go over there. And it keeps this Tempest out of the way in this area clear for me. So I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go with it. So just need to get the other bracket on now. So that's it's going to be quite high, that. Right, so there's a Tempest mounted on the wall. This being open here worried me a bit, but I know logically it's not gonna lean this way from the bottom, is it? But nice easy way of fitting it. With the clamps, you got to have a bit of pipe, and you know, you can't really pipe straight into it. But I like doing it. I like doing it this way. Now I can just dry fit with 45 going down there. Cut that pipe, tee into there, and have this up and running. Hopefully within about half an hour. Okay, so I've dry fitted with the elbows pretty much as close as I can get to the Tempest here, and then we're going to go down and it's going to go into tee into this area here. Shift that. As you can see on this bit of pipe here, there's not going to be enough room to actually tee on because the tee needs this much space. So we're out by like 1.5 inches, something like that. So what I need to do is add 1.5 inches to this, we know we've got enough clearance to shift the pipe that way here, so that's fine. So all I'm going to do is get that piece of pipe out, make it 1.5 inches longer, and then it should bring it over there enough for me to cut that pipe and tee out of there. Right, so just extended that a bit, so you can see now, I'm not sure if you can see, it's a bit dark down here, but that will tee, and that will mean that those two pipes there can be connected. Okay, so we are now at the stage where I'm ready to put that tee in there. Obviously I'm going to have a ball valve here. Where are they? There they are, 1.5 inches. Here they are. So the pit, 1.5 inch ball valves with a blue handle. So that's going to go like here. It doesn't make sense putting it there because there's just not enough room. Even a slide valve, you'd struggle getting that in there. I'm going to stick it there, nice and easy to get to. And I was thinking about this actually. On my next shipment of pipework, we're going to be getting ball check valves that basically look like this, but without this handle, so they kind of look like that. And it's got a ball inside that kind of floats when it's on, and then it goes back down and stops the flow going back this way when it's off. I'm thinking you don't really need a slide valve on this because it's only when you're cleaning, and you can control the flow with the slide of the ball valve on the top one, can't you? So my thinking was put a ball check valve on here when I'm able to, once I've got them in stock, and on here have a ball valve, because then I can still get the flow rate how I want it. I mean, I could use that for the flow rate, but then it'll always be going as much through this as possible then, won't it? To be fair, going through a backy, you do want a bit more flow anyway. But I'm going to have a ball there, and eventually a ball check valve, but for now I'll have a ball valve, because otherwise this won't work properly. It'll just siphon back into here through the pump when I'm trying to clean it. So you do need a slide or a ball valve. You do need to be able to isolate the inlet and the outlet on the Tempest. You can't get around that unless you've got a ball check valve, because you just want to stop the water getting back down there. So I've got a clean going on while I'm doing this bit here. Had to stop the filter, so I thought I might as well do a clean. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to loosen that union. Got a bucket sat below, kept collected, hopefully all the water. So all this is doing is draining whatever's in the down pipe, that sort of pack, whatever water's down there, you'll see that going down. And whatever water's up to this ball valve here, it's obviously that ball valve stopping that water escape. So I don't open up too far because it'll just end up squirting out in all directions, so I'll leave that a few minutes for that to all come out. Another thing I've thought about is just making sure that this pipe isn't like facing out there or towards the wall, because if it's facing like that, and then I pipe this stuff up, so this is all fine, then it might not necessarily be fine up here once I come to plumb this in. So if that's running parallel to the wall, which it is, there's a bit of flexing pipe, which is fine. You can kind of see it from here, it is parallel to the wall. So just making sure that this is 2 and that's able to go in there onto that T. I think I'm going to have to shorten this ever so slightly. But yeah, might have to shorten this ever so slightly just to make sure that fits perfect. Hi, sorry to be doing this in such small pieces, but it's difficult to film down there. There's nowhere I can put the camera where you'll be able to see. So I've got the elbow in this way, I've got it going into the T, and then all I need to do now, stick this bit back on, line that up and screw it on. Okay, so I've dry fit up to here. I know that I can get that screw on because it's within, you know, a couple of mil. So I've dry fit, that's the pump. So yeah, I get that screw on, so everything's going quite well. All I need to do now, put out the space here for the ball valve. Hello, very close to done now. So a little trick that I want to show you, when you dry fit in pipe, you get to a point sometimes where you can't actually move the pipe apart to glue bits in either end. Good thing about double union ball valves is you can stick the union bit on. This is just dry fitted at the moment, and then all you've got to do is slot that in the middle, and then you can screw these, so everything else can be glued together, and then this last piece can be glued in without having to worry about moving that pipe back and shoving it in a hole. Right, so stuck a ball valve up there, and for now I'm just going down and backing up on there, because then this little dead spot here is getting a bit of vegetation. Hello, right, so finally finished. Took me a couple of hours of messing about, deciding exactly how I wanted everything. But we've got Tempest running back just in like that for the moment, so I've left enough, well, there's plenty of pipe there for chopping that off and doing whatever I want. It will be cobra clamped to the wall, so I'll have a few little blocks, stick a cobra clamp on it. I'll probably have 3 along that wall on each upright of timber. If it does go over there, if not, it's pretty much set up for us to just cut that, stick a glue to glue socket union on and put the shower there. But what do you guys think? Should I put the shower where this pipe's coming back in, or should I stick it over there in the back? I think it looks better at the back. It's just I need to wait for this to mature before I install it, and well, I need to sort that back wall out. If I put a waterproof banner across the back with either Japanese styling or something like that, that could work, so I might do that. Just wait for that to mature, because that's the Tempest is going to take probably a couple of weeks, 3 weeks or something. Start seeing this get a bit dirty, so it starts collecting more fines and that. It's been on for a little bit, and all it's collected at the moment is a few bubbles. Well, there's a few little tiny bits that I can see in there actually, but yeah, it's been going for about half an hour now. So I've topped the water level back up. I've put a rubber on the end of a bit of pipe on there just so the fish can't hurt themselves on it. So yeah, I'm undecided. Tempest, backy shower here or backy shower where it is at the moment. I'm undecided. What do you guys think?